My life ended on a regular Tuesday night. Or at least, the life I thought I had ended. I'm going to keep this vague enough to protect my identity, but specific enough so you understand exactly how much pain I'm in. I've been married to my wife, let's call her Sarah, 29F, for 5 years. We've been together for 8. I truly believed we were the perfect team. We just bought a house last year, and we were talking about trying for a baby soon. I work as a project manager at a mid-sized tech firm, and Sarah works in marketing. The other player in this nightmare is my boss, Mark, 45M. Mark was the guy I looked up to. He hired me 3 years ago. He was charismatic, wealthy, and seemed to genuinely care about my career. We went for beers after work. I invited him to my BBQs. He was my mentor. Here is how my world fell apart. Sarah had been working late a lot recently. She said they had a huge campaign launching and she needed to be on site with the client. I didn't question it. Why would I? I trusted her completely. On this specific Tuesday, she texted me at 5 p.m. Hey babe, pulling another late one. Client dinner. Don't wait up, love you. XO. I texted back, no worries, good luck. Love you too. I decided to order a pizza and watch a movie. I sat down on the couch and reached for our shared iPad. We usually keep it in the living room for controlling the smart home stuff or reading news. I unlocked it, and it was running a bit slow. I noticed a notification badge on the Photos app. It said uploading. 4 items. I didn't think anything of it. Sarah's iPhone is synced to the iCloud account on the iPad because she likes to edit her Instagram photos on the bigger screen. I tapped the app, expecting to see pictures of her lunch or maybe some work slides. The first photo loaded. It took my brain about 10 seconds to process what I was seeing. It wasn't a work slide. It was a selfie, but it was taken from a high angle, looking down at a bed. Sarah was in the photo. She was wearing lingerie I had never seen before, black lace, very expensive looking. She was smiling a smile she used to give me when we first started dating. My stomach dropped. I felt like I was physically falling through the floor. I swiped to the next photo. This one wasn't a selfie. It was a picture of a man. He was standing by a window, shirtless, holding a glass of wine. His back was to the camera, but I recognized the tattoo on his right shoulder blade instantly. It was a distinct geometric wolf design. I've seen that tattoo in the gym locker room a dozen times. It was Mark, my boss. I felt bile rise in my throat. I actually ran to the bathroom and dry heaved over the toilet for 5 minutes. I couldn't breathe. My wife, my mentor, the 2 people I trusted most in the world were together, right now, probably laughing at me. I went back to the iPad. I needed to know. I swiped to the 3rd item. It was a video. I shouldn't have played it. If you are ever in this situation, don't play the video. It breaks something inside you that you can never fix. It was brief, only 10 seconds, but the audio was crystal clear. You're so much better than him, Sarah's voice purred. Mark laughed. That deep, confident laugh I used to admire. Don't worry about him. He's clueless. He'll be busy with that new project I gave him for months. I sat on the couch in the dark, the iPad glowing in my hands, tears streaming down my face. I was shaking so hard I almost dropped the tablet. The timestamp on the video was 6:45 p.m. Less than an hour ago. While I was ordering pizza, my boss was sleeping with my wife and mocking my career. My first instinct was to drive to the hotel. The location data was right there on the photo details, and kick the door down. I wanted to scream. I wanted to burn the house down. I wanted to text Mark and tell him he was a dead man. But then I heard a car door slam outside. It was 9:30 p.m. She was home early. Panic replaced the rage. I didn't have a plan. If I confronted her now, she would deny it, or blame me, or warn Mark. Mark holds my career in his hands. He could fire me, blacklist me, and ruin my financial stability before the divorce papers were even signed. I wiped my face with my shirt, closed the iPad, and threw it under the couch cushions just as the front door opened. Hey babe, I'm home, she called out. Her voice was cheerful. Normal. It was terrifying how normal she sounded. She walked into the living room, looking fresh. She had obviously showered at the hotel. But as she leaned in to kiss me on the cheek, I smelled it. Underneath her floral shampoo, There was the faint, musky scent of Mark's expensive cologne. "You look tired," she said, stroking my arm. "Did you miss me?" I forced a smile. It felt like my face was made of cracking plaster. "Yeah," I said, my voice sounding hollow. "I missed you." She went to the kitchen to get water, and her phone lit up on the counter. It was face up. I glanced at it. A text from Mark Work popped up. It didn't say good night or last night was great. It said, "Did he sign the life insurance update yet? We need to make sure that's sorted before Phase 2. My blood turned to ice. Phase 2. I realized then that this wasn't just an affair. This was something much, much worse. And I knew I couldn't say a word. Not yet. I didn't sleep that night. Not for a single second. I laid in bed next to Sarah, listening to her breathe, wondering how a person could be so evil. She was dreaming peacefully while my entire reality was dissolving. The next morning, I initiated what I call Operation Ghost. I told Sarah I wasn't feeling well, a stomach bug, and that I'd be sleeping in the guest room for a few days so she wouldn't catch it. It was a weak excuse, but it bought me space. I couldn't bear to have her touch me. That day, I didn't go to work. Instead, I went to a lawyer. I found the nastiest, most ruthless divorce attorney in the city. Let's call him Mr. Stone. I sat in his office, eyes bloodshot, and showed him the screenshots I had managed to airdrop to my phone before hiding the iPad. Mr. Stone looked at the photos, then at the text about Phase 2. He took off his glasses and looked me dead in the eye. "Listen to me carefully," he said. "Do not leave the house. Do not confront them. Do not change your routine. If that text means what I think it means, you are in danger of more than just a broken heart. You need to become a spy in your own life." He was right. I went into work the next day, and that was the hardest performance of my life. Mark walked by my desk, clapped me on the shoulder, and asked, "How's the project coming along, buddy? You look a little rough." I wanted to punch his teeth down his throat. Instead, I forced a weak laugh. "Just a stomach bug, Mark. But I'm grinding through it. Thanks for checking in." "That's the spirit," he grinned. "We need this project to be perfect. The audit is coming up in 3 months." The audit. That word stuck in my brain. Over the next few weeks, I became a different person. Outwardly, I was the loving husband and the diligent employee. Inwardly, I was gathering ammo. I bought a voice-activated recorder and hid it under the passenger seat of Sarah's car. I installed a keylogger on our home computer. The recordings were brutal. I had to listen to them planning their weekends away while I was supposedly busy working. But the real gold came from the financial dig. Remember the Phase 2 text? I finally figured out what it meant. I stayed late at the office one night, using my admin privileges to dig through the project archives. Mark had been assigning me to approve invoices for a vendor called Apex Solutions. I had signed off on maybe $50,000 worth of services over the last 6 months. Mark told me they were external consultants for coding. I ran a background check on Apex Solutions. The company wasn't registered to a tech firm. It was a shell company. The registered agent? Sarah's maiden name. The address? A P.O. box in a town where Sarah's parents lived. They weren't just having an affair. They were embezzling money from the company, and they were using my signature to do it. Mark was the boss, so he approved the budget, but I was the one signing the invoices. When the audit happened in 3 months, Mark was going to claim ignorance. He would say I set up a fake vendor and stole the money. With Sarah as the beneficiary, it would look like a husband and wife scheme. I would go to prison. They would run off with the money, and Mark would play the victimized boss who was betrayed by his protege. That's what Phase 2 was. The audit. The frame job. I sat in my empty office, staring at the screen. I felt cold all over. They were going to put me in jail. I printed everything. Every invoice. Every email where Mark told me to prioritize the Apex payments. I took photos of the metadata. I made 3 copies. One for me, one for Mr. Stone, and one in a safety deposit box Sarah didn't know about. For 3 months, I lived in hell. I cooked dinner for Sarah. I laughed at Mark's jokes in meetings. I signed the documents they handed me, but now I was recording every conversation with Mark on my phone in my pocket, getting him to verbally confirm that he authorized the payments. Just sign it, Don't worry about the details, Mark said on tape, 3 weeks before the audit. I've verified the work myself. Got it, thanks Mark, I said, my hand trembling slightly as I signed my death warrant, or so he thought. The tension at home was unbearable. Sarah was getting sloppy. She was texting him while sitting right next to me. She was coming home late 3 times a week. She started talking about how we should sell the house because the market was good. She wanted to liquidate our assets before the order hit, so she could split with her half before I got arrested and sued. Finally, the day arrived. The quarterly all-hands meeting. The entire executive board, including the CEO and HR, would be there. Mark was scheduled to present the financial success of my project. The night before the meeting, Sarah asked me, "Are you nervous about tomorrow?" I looked at her, really looked at her, for the last time. "No," I said calmly. "I think tomorrow is going to be a very enlightening day for everyone." She didn't catch the double meaning. She just kissed my cheek and went to sleep. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling. I had the recordings. I had the forensic accounting report Mr. Stone helped me compile. I had the photos of them together. Tomorrow, I wasn't just going to quit. I was going to burn their entire world to the ground. The morning of the meeting, I put on my best suit. I didn't drink coffee. My adrenaline was already redlining. I drove to work, parked in my usual spot, and walked into the conference room 5 minutes early. The room filled up. The CEO, the CFO, HR, and the board members were seated. Mark stood at the head of the table, looking confident as hell. He winked at me when I sat down. He actually winked. Mark started his presentation. He was charismatic, talking about how efficient the project was, how we came in under budget. He was taking credit for my work while simultaneously laying the groundwork to frame me for the missing funds later. Any questions? Mark asked, beaming at the CEO. Actually, yes, I said. I stood up. My voice didn't shake. I have a supplementary report regarding the Apex Solutions vendor Mark mentioned. Mark's smile faltered for a microsecond. We don't need to bore the board with granular details, OP. We can discuss that later. I think the board will find this very interesting, I said, walking over to the CEO. I handed him a thick binder. I handed another to the CFO and the head of HR. What is this? The CEO asked, opening the folder. That, I said, pointing to the first page, is the incorporation document for Apex Solutions. You'll notice the registered address is a residential PO box, and the registered agent is Sarah, last name. The room went dead silent. Mark's face turned the color of ash. Sarah is my wife, I continued, looking directly at Mark. And she is also Mark's mistress. This is ridiculous. Mark shouted, his voice cracking. He's lying. He's crazy. This is a personal vendetta because of a misunderstanding. If you turn to page 4, I said calmly to the CEO, ignoring Mark completely, you will see the transaction logs. Every time I flagged an invoice as suspicious, Mark manually overrode the system authorization. And if that isn't enough, please play the audio file I just emailed to everyone in this room. Phones pinged simultaneously. The CFO tapped his screen. Mark's voice filled the silent conference room. Just sign it. Don't worry about the details. I've verified the work myself. We need to make sure that's sorted before phase 2. Mark lunged for his laptop to try and stop something, but the security guard at the door stepped forward. The CEO looked up from the binder. His face was purple with rage. He looked at Mark. Sit down, the CEO growled. Don't you move a single muscle. The next hour was a blur of shouting, lawyers being called, and Mark sweating through his expensive shirt. But the cherry on top wasn't the firing. It was the knock on the conference room door. I had called the authorities 2 hours prior to the meeting. 2 officers entered. Since the amount embezzled was over $50,000, it was grand larceny and wire fraud. They handcuffed Mark right there in front of the entire executive board. As they walked him out, he looked at me with pure hatred. I just waved. But I wasn't done. I drove home. Sarah wasn't there. She was at her office. I packed the rest of my things, took the dog, his mine, legally, and left the divorce papers on the kitchen counter. Next to the papers, I left a printout of the selfie she took with Mark. I texted her one word, checkmate. The aftermath. It's been 8 months since that day. Here is the fallout. Mark, he is currently awaiting trial. Because I provided the company with everything they needed to recover the funds, they went full force on him. He lost his job, his reputation, and his assets have been frozen. His wife, yes, he was married too, took the kids and left him immediately. Sarah, she wasn't arrested, as Mark was the one who technically authorized the fraud, but she was named in the civil lawsuit for the return of the funds. She is ruined financially. Since the money she earned was proceeds of a crime, she has zero leverage in our divorce. I kept the house, which I sold immediately because I couldn't stand the memories, and my 401k. She is currently living with her parents. She tried to call me 100 times, crying, saying Mark manipulated her. I blocked her number. The company didn't fire me. In fact, the CEO apologized personally. He offered me Mark's old job. I declined. I didn't want to be in that building anymore. I took a nice severance package and found a new job at a competitor, with a higher salary and a boss who actually respects me. I'm in therapy now. I have trust issues, obviously, but I wake up every morning in a new apartment, with my dog, knowing that I didn't just survive. I won. They thought I was the clueless husband or employee they could walk all over. They forgot one important thing. You never mess with the guy who handles the paperwork.